shelves. We invite everyone to join us downstairs after service for coffee, snacks, and conversation. Thank you for joining us this morning. And now Jera is going to play our prelude. Today, we gather to contemplate hope, despair, and faith. Rumi suggests that despair can be a path to deeper truth and inner strength, that hope can persist even in the bleakest situations, and that adversity offers opportunities for transformation and new beginnings. Recent surveys suggest that 84% of Gen Z young men and women report that mental health challenges are a major part of their identity, with higher rates of anxiety, depression, and loneliness compared to previous generations at the same age. They attribute this to financial pressures, social media, and instability across the world. All of us seem to be under higher levels of stress and worry. Today, we will explore these issues and how faith can help us find the opportunities in these darker moments. Our chalice reading today is from Rumi. If you would join me in reading, the chalice words should be in your order of service and on the screen. If you keep your heart open through everything, your pain can become your greatest ally in your life's search for love and wisdom. And now if you would join us in our opening song, number 188. Please rise in body or spirit for our opening song, which is Come, Come, Whoever You Are in the gray hymnal. The lyrics will also be projected on the screen, and we will sing this 3 times through.
Come, come, whoever you are.
In the spirit of love and fellowship, we now greet the holy in our midst by briefly greeting those around us, especially those we do not know.
Hey, can all the kids for Word for All Ages come on up? Come on up. Come on, kids.
If any kids want to come up front for our Words for All Ages.
That's it. Come one, come all. Sometimes those adults don't get quiet, do they? You know. Hey, so I am not Tiffany. As you can tell, I'm Alice, and Tiffany's out of town, so I am going to do Word for All Ages with you all. And we have some special guests we've flown in from Hollywood. Lisa? And did Greg leave already? Oh, and there's Greg. So this month's theme is compassion. So I'm curious what you guys know about that big long word. What do you think compassion is? Anybody have an idea? And that's okay, because that's why we're here, isn't it? To learn. So figure this, and then Greg and Lisa are going to act out some things for us, and we get to tell them if it was compassionate or not. So pay attention. This is what compassion means. It's when somebody's feeling sad, and you see their sadness or they're struggling with something, and then you care about how they're feeling, and then you do something about it to try to help it make it better. All right, does that follow? Right? Okay, so remembering that, Greg and Lisa are going to act out, to begin with, just a random thing that happens, and listen to their response, and then we're going to discuss if that was a good response, a compassionate response, or not, okay? And then we get to tell them what we think they could do that's compassionate. Are you ready? Okay, Act 1, here we go. Okay. Now, was that compassion? It was not. What would have been something compassionate? Yeah, well, you got the floor. Should we try that? Yeah. All right, reenactment. Let's see if this works.
let me help you. Oh, here, I'll help you pick those up.
I appreciate that.
Oh, it happens to me all the time.
Was that compassion? Yay, we got one! Okay, skit number 2. So far, you're 1 for 1. Good job. Okay, here we go. Now, they're going to be at school having lunch. So we're going to pretend this is the lunch table. Let's watch what happens.
Where's your lunch?
I don't have any, we don't have any food at home.
That is so sad, because I really like my lunch. And if I were so hungry, I'd probably share some.
Please stop on that one.
Well, I hope your mom gets some money and makes a lunch like mine, because I love my lunch.
Now, was that compassion? No. Who's going to share an idea of what compassion might have? Let's go here. Yeah. They could share. Should we try it again and see what happens? All right, Act 2.
Where's your lunch?
I don't have any.
You don't have any lunch? Well, I tell you what, how about if I give you half of mine?
Thank you so much.
If you start to go out with me half of those and I'll eat half of the apple, and then we'll split it.
Is that compassion? Okay, 2 for 2. Can we make it 3 for 3? Here we go. In this case, Greg, who has the backpack, it's his first day at a new school, and he just doesn't know anyone or where anything is. So let's see what happens.
Oh, hey, I'm new here. Can you, it's my first day at this school.
Well, that's too bad.
Oh, hey, could you at least help me find my homeroom?
I'm so sorry, I'm late for practice. Good luck with that.
Okay. What do we think? Was that compassion?
No.
Who can tell us a better scenario that would be compassion? How about you, buddy?
She can tell him his homeroom and where everything is and show him around.
Should we try that? All right, we heard your instructions.
Oh, hey, I'm new here. This is my first day at this school.
Yeah. Very nice to meet you. You need any help?
Boy, if you could show me where my homeroom is, that would be a great start.
I'm late, but I would love to show you. Come this way.
Okay, let's hear it all for Eckerd. Was that compassion?
Yeah.
3 for 3. Now, the big key is it's always fun to watch others, but we need to ask ourselves, what can I do this week that's compassionate when I see other people who need a friend or a hug or a pat on the back? Can that be you guys this week? I don't hear you. Oh, come on. Can we do that this week?
Yeah.
There. We'll settle for that. Okay, let's go downstairs and keep talking compassion, okay?
Good morning. I'm Maureen Bennett, a member of the Pastoral Care Team. As we gather today, As we gather today, we pause to reflect on what lies in our hearts. In this time of sharing, we take a moment to recognize our personal joys and sorrows and to read from the book of Joys and Sorrows, those personal events that you have chosen to share with us. Joy. Thanks for the folks who walked for NAMI on Saturday. Another joy for John DeGrieve, who is recovering from a successful total knee surgery. And for a mixed joy and sorrow, Christine Dahl had a stroke in early September. She is home resting and recovering, and thanks everyone. Do we have anything online?
Yes, ma'am. Stephen Burke says, much thanks and appreciation for all the members who came and helped with the tree trimming yesterday. Participation is greatly appreciated.
Thank you. For all that has been shared and for what remains quietly in the sanctuary of our hearts, we are grateful. Let us become aware of the energy that brings us together in this beloved community as we share a time of silent meditation. May we open our minds and hearts to a place of quiet, to a silent prayer for the healing of pain and the comfort of love. You are invited to come forward and light a candle during the musical meditation that follows.
This congregation is a theologically diverse religious community with membership open to all who are in accord with our values, mission, and vision. Our congregation is entirely self-governed by the democratic process. One of the privileges of our free church tradition is to provide all of the financial support for our many ministries from among ourselves. Generosity, therefore, is one of our spiritual values which we recognize as central to our personal and our institutional well-being. This month's undesignated plate offering will go towards NAMI, the National Alliance on Mental Illness of the Greater Mississippi Valley. You can read more about it on the back of your order of service. We invite you now to participate in the blessing of giving as the ushers come among you to accept the gifts of the congregation. Please be as generous as you are able. For all the gifts of time and treasure that you give this congregation, with sincere gratitude, we thank you. Our reading today is from the Quran, chapter 93, entitled The Glorious Morning Light. In the name of God, most compassionate, most merciful, by the glorious morning light and the darkness that covers it, your Lord has not abandoned you or forgotten you, and the next life will be better for you than the first one. And soon your Lord will give you what will be pleasing to you. Did God not find you an orphan, alone, and comforted you? Did God not find you wandering and guided you? And God found you poor and provided you sustenance. So don't ignore those who are orphaned and alone. And when someone asks something of you, don't turn away from them, and proclaim the many blessings given to you by your Lord. Dr. Lisa Killinger, D.C., embraced Islam in 1979 while in college. Since that time, she has been a community activist, peace advocate, and worker for social justice. Over the past 40 years, she has spoken in 29 countries and in hundreds of churches, temples, mosques, and universities, encouraging interfaith understanding through dialogue. Lisa was married in this very church in 1981 while she was a student at Palmer College, and we welcome her back today.
Thank you so much. It brings me great joy to be in this beautiful space with you. I chose this topic because I feel like we're all in this together, and I think it helps us to be together in it. Some say these are dark times. Some people are struggling, and no doubt we should be talking about tools to navigate more towards the light. So chatting about this means conversation, and I'm a teacher, I can't help myself, so sometimes I might ask you a question, which you can shout out and answer, I don't mind, or if you wish, you can raise your hand when I ask for people to tell me if this applies to them, but you don't have to. If you prefer to sit quietly, that's completely okay as well. I'll start with a quote from someone I think is very wonderful, Ali Abu Talibi, who said, "Do not let your difficulties fill you with anxiety. After all, it's only in the darkest nights that the stars shine more brightly." I fancy myself a stargazer. I have no skill or training, but I love nothing more than to look up at the stars, and it is true that it is those darkest nights where we see the light the best. It's literally true, but we need to be thinking about what those dark times are and how it could be helpful for us in the future. I think some people have been struggling with frustration and even some feelings of deep despair. This could be concerns about poverty, inequities, or injustices we see in society, politics, climate change, the state of the educational system, the healthcare system. It could be their experiences in a million other problems. But others might feel that this is the best of times. We are far from monolithic in our community and monolithic in our nation, as we have found. But we are a resilient nation, and we are resilient people. So let's check in here. How many of you, by a show of hands, have been struggling with some frustration, depression, or even despair in this past year or two? Oops. Well, maybe there's something in that for us to know that, yes, while we are, some of us, and apparently almost all of us, are struggling in some way, we are not struggling alone. How can we navigate through these rough patches into a little bit of a lighter space? And the Holy Quran, aside from the verse that was just read, there's another verse that says, and I'll read it in Arabic real quick and translate it. فَإِنَّ مَعَ الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا إِنَّ مَعَ الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا. The sound of it is sort of, to me, melodic, and that's the nature of the Quran. But it means for every hardship, there is an equal or greater relief. And then it repeats, say, for every hardship, there is a relief. And that's one strategy that's used in the Quran. If it's a message that needs to stick in our brains, that we need to pay extra attention, it'll repeat it twice, one right after the other. And I think that's important. And we've used that as parents. Some of you maybe, don't go to that person's house anymore. Did you hear me? Don't go to that person's house. We repeat it because we need it to stick. And I think it's important to think and to remember that there is in every hardship, in every discomfort, there is an equal relief at the end of it. The Torah, the Bible, and the Quran all have the same message as well, in that they all have a saying that's something like this, paraphrased, that God will never place a burden on any soul greater than that which they can bear. I'm sure if you're familiar with any of these sacred texts, you've heard something like this. And I know the questioning among you might say, and I've had a friend say this to me recently when I tried to pull that card out. They said, well, they said something that I can't repeat here, but I'll tone it down and say, why is God so cruel? They used a different word. And, why does God have to inflict any suffering on us? And I have to say that God is not cruel. God is wiser than most of us can ever comprehend, because we know that to make the strongest plow blade through our field, to plow our fields, or to make the strongest sword, that metal has to be forged in fire, right? It has to be put to a test. It has to be hardened. Otherwise, it would just buckle under the pressure of normal day-to-day work. And that's how it is with us as well. The strongest humans are the ones who have been forged in that fire. And some of you may know those humans. You look at their lives and you think, how could they be even surviving? Or if you look in the sacred books, the patience of Job. Job had so much hardship. How could he even have persisted through all of that? But when we do persist, we end up stronger on the other end of it. So it makes us uniquely positioned to be able to help others or to be an example or an inspiration for others as we go through our respective fire. So the quick lesson is that everything we go through may help us, give us some strength and wisdom to help some others in our life. I'm quite certain that I survived 14 years of domestic violence because it would put me in a position where I could help someone go through that. Had I not been through that experience, I never would have understood quite why you can't say, just leave. It's not always that simple, right? And anyone who's been in that fire knows. Malcolm X, who at one time was very hateful towards white people, but then went to do his sacred pilgrimage in Mecca, came back and changed his message completely to one of love and respect and dignity for everyone. And it was in that new message that he was murdered, right? That he was cut down in the early parts of his life. But he said, he had this to say, before he died, of course, it is only after the deepest darkness that the greatest joy can come. Not just joy, but the greatest of joys can come after the greatest darkness. To understand this quote really deeply, all we have to do is look at how people respond to the weather. It's such a human thing, right? So I lived for 7 years in California, in the mid-coast of California, the most temperate of places where the weather really wavered comfortably between 60 and 80, right? And if it got down to 55, people, got out their parkas. It was interesting. There were no big storms. There was no thunder except for the week I moved in, and 7 years later, the week I moved out, there was thunderclaps twice, and everyone thought it was the end of times. You would think that this would create a state where people revel in the glory and give great appreciation and have joy for this wet weather, but that was not. It created a whole state of weather whiny babies. I am not kidding you. When they heard thunder, again, they thought it was the end of times. When it rained, people kept their children home from school. I'm not talking about a deluge. I'm talking about it sprinkling out for the first time in 9 months. Kids stay home from school. It was the most bizarre thing. And on that crisp 55-degree morning, again, the parkas came out. And I was just like, what is wrong with you people? Because the lack of bad weather didn't make them happy. It made them incredibly incapable of handling any hardship related to weather whatsoever. There's a lesson in this for us. I'd never, ever heard anybody talking about how nice the weather was there. It was the most bizarre phenomenon. Now, I was talking about it, but they thought I was insane. Well, of course it's nice, that's the way it is here. Now, contrast this with us Midwesterners, right? We've been forged in the fire. The most grueling of heat this summer, notwithstanding the grueling cold, countless thunderstorms, tornadoes, ice storms that break trees, derechos that land the most mighty of oaks in people's living rooms. We've seen some stuff, right? We've seen some stuff. So when we get that 70-degree and sunny day that doesn't have wind that'll blow you off of, the sidewalk, we're like, this is awesome. Everybody comes out of their lairs and they enjoy and they give thanks for that weather. There's a lesson in this because this is just one day-to-day thing that we endure darkness, and we need to learn to appreciate and give thanks for the wonderful, glorious weather like today. And is there anyone besides me here that may have endured a really hard personal relationship in their lives? A lot of us have, apparently. And it's a couple of those relationships, the one that make you question everything, right? That will help you appreciate so much when that peaceful, kind soul comes along and treats you with dignity and respect. And then you live in joy and laughter together forever and ever, amen, right? As it should be. You may not have appreciated the greatness of that wonderful soul had you not been forged in the fire of that previous relationship that showed you just how bad it could be, and you see how good it can be, and then you really have a great appreciation. And then there's this, do you remember that generation? I don't know which decade it was, but you can help me out with this. That generation where nobody got first prize. Everybody got a prize, but nobody got first prize, right? Because it didn't matter whether you lost or won, you got the same ribbon that everybody got. In that generation, didn't matter how hard they worked or how much they slacked off, we got the same thing, right? I don't know if that was the 80s. It seems like it was probably the time when my children were growing up. But we created a generation who felt that they deserved everything without work, right? And we also created, I think, maybe a generation of people with really terrible work ethic who might not be great employees because they never had to have any loss or hardship or any of that forging in the fire. They never lost, so to speak. They only were given. And maybe that's not the greatest strategy, and maybe God understands in his ultimate wisdom that that's not the way to have people be really well. It's not the best strategy. It's failing that test or losing a game that helps us to strive harder, to practice more, to pay attention, to study, to learn. And that creates good work ethic and also appreciation for success, I think. Let's bring this topic, though, just in a little bit tighter in this moment where some of us are feeling that this world, our nation, our neighborhood is hopeless. We're being barraged daily with bad news, social media, vitriol, and political polarization. There's no doubt about it. No one can deny this, and no one is immune from this. It's easy to take a side and engage in social media warfare. It's also easy to start getting hypervigilant at looking for signs of the other side in people that are close to us, and then reacting with hate. We got to fight this temptation. We might think that be watching for those people and think maybe that one of them is a wingnut, or is at best a wingnut, or maybe at worst is Satan incarnate. We got to stop thinking in those extreme terms and stop judging in those extreme terms. Check in with your gut right now. When I brought this up, didn't some of you get a little tight in the tummy about this? I did. Blood pressure went up, start sweating a little bit, because hate is a very powerful, powerful thing. Not a good thing, right? Hate, even for a good reason, is still hate. So when we see darkness on the news, in social media, an angry mob, with pitchforks, hopefully not pitchforks, but we're facing a fork in the road, right? We can choose very different paths. We can complain about the darkness and utter failure we see in society. It doesn't go well for us when we do that. We can give up and choose to wallow in despair, and this also doesn't generally go well. Or we can say or do something positive. We'll come back to the positive, but we need to get real for a minute. Social media often has a negative impact, and it's having that negative impact with the quote that was given earlier about people, about 83% of people having anxiety and depression, mental health issues. Some of them are in 3% of them are saying that is a major part of their identity, to have this mental health issue. This means we're not handling something right? So we need to be aware that the impact of these algorithms and social media, that social media plays with us, that they lead with the most extreme of things because they know that that gets traction and gets more likes and gets more screen time. And when we like those posts, we then get more of those posts and we get more severe of those posts. We're driving this ship, by the way. We, each of us, are driving this ship. We have the ability to change that through what we click on or spend time viewing or not. We don't want to be drowning in negativity, hatred, and vitriol. And news outlets, by the way, they work in the same way. Blood sells, violence sells. It's always the headline story, right? And I remember when doing some interviews here in the Quad Cities, they'd say, well, this will be on at 10 o'clock unless there's a murder. But the reporters would say that because that will trump everything and you'll get pushed off maybe to the next newscast. What's wrong with this picture? It's a very big money grab and it's incredibly manipulative, right? So some tools that we absolutely can control is to turn off social media. Now that's very extreme. I know there's an addiction. There's an addiction here. But do we really need to spend hours doom scrolling every day, which is the average? We don't need to spend hours at this every day. And it's bad for our mental health and it's bad for our physical health. If a post has manipulated us into anger, don't click on it, don't like it, don't add your voice to the angry mob. Say, there's a little button that says, I would like to see less of this. And click that. En masse, if just this room clicks, I would like to see less of this, you'll change the whole algorithm. That's how it works. So do that one good thing. If a post has given you an incredibly visceral response, angry response, then it's probably not entirely true. It could be true, but it has played it up in a way that is designed to get you angry. So I would say that the truth is almost always somewhere in the middle, right? Not at this extreme or this, but the truth often lives somewhere in the middle way. So let's come back to the positives. When we're depressed, angry at the daily idiocy, what are things that we can do to get out of that darkness? So what I'm going to ask you real quickly, what is something you do to bring yourself up out of darkness? Anyone want to share?
Walk.
Tell me again.
Walk.
Walk. Ooh, what a wonderful one, especially on a day like today. What else?
Meditate.
Meditate. Spend some time getting centered. Yes.
Music.
Ooh, spend some time in music. Yes. Tell me again. Oh, kickboxing. Something physical, absolutely. Way in the back.
Getting in nature.
Ooh, any time in nature. And what we know, by the way, I spent a lot of years in research, so you can take the girl out of research, but you can't take the research out of the girl, it seems. But yes, there's good science on actually all of the things that were mentioned. Doing something physical, getting out in nature, all of these things have a very positive impact on health, and we have control over those things. And yes, there's not everybody that can get out and kickbox. There's not everybody that can get out and even walk, but there is the ability to spend time in nature. And if you can't go out in nature, this room is healing because look what we're surrounded by. There are so many places in the world I've been, they don't have trees. Right? They don't have trees. They don't have green at all. So we are very fortunate to be here today. So one thing is also journaling, to write down 3 good things. There's a big, huge research project on 3 good things that's been going on for a decade or so. And turns out writing down 3 good things, 3 things to be thankful for, improves your mood, decreases depression, improves your overall health. The side effects of this are immense. So, You can write down 3 good things at the end of the day. Some people will put it in their phone. Some people will scribble it on a little journal that they keep next to their bed. Do it actually old school on paper with a pen or a pencil so they can erase. If they decide that wasn't a good one, I'm going to choose a different one. But I think that if everybody tried, or if anybody tried, they could not just come up with 3 good things. Don't burn yourself up. But you could probably come up with 30 good things or 300 good things if you just started at the top of your body and went all the way down to the bottom, thankful for the things that are working. The fact that we could get here, we could ride or drive or walk here, the fact that we can be in company like this. We are the fortunate ones. The fact that we can feel the warmth of our partner or friend's skin as they give us a hug, as we greet each other in a service like this today. That's all healing. Self-care, taking a warm bath, going outside, all of those things. Breathe. After all, if we don't secure our own mask first, like they tell us to on the airplanes when those little things come down, secure your own mask first before you try to help anybody else. If we don't secure our own masks first, we will be unavailable to give to others. So we must, if we want to be compassionate, secure our own masks first. And whether it's your family or your family, your friend's family, all of those things, spend some time with others if you can. And if it can't be in person, then by phone or by talking to them or chatting with them or even just sending them a text, because honestly, that time is so sacred. When I invite my 15-year-old's grandson over, and we play a game of rummy, or he beats me at croquet, or anything. First time he's beat me is this year. Otherwise, for 14 years, I clobbered him, and I didn't give him any mercy, but now he can beat me. But in that moment, all of the sadness of the world and the sorrow of the world is gone, and joy returns. Spend some time finding that joyful, joyful place. I wanted to loop back quickly, and this will end here with the verse that you had in your program. If you want to take it down and look, you may. The glorious morning light, which its entire message is that it's brightest after the darkness, right? In the name of God, the most compassionate, the merciful. First of all, it's always good to remember that God is compassionate, the theme of your singing out the children today, and merciful, meaning no matter how far you've strayed, you can always ask for mercy, and God's mercy knows no bounds, right? That is infinite, and that is beautiful. By the glorious morning night and the dark that covers it, there is always both darkness and light. In God's wisdom, that's best for us. Take a moment to think about that. That is best for us. Your Lord has not abandoned you nor forgotten you. Don't despair. You are never alone. I'm giving commentary as we go. And the next life will be better for you than the first one. If you believe that there is after the death of our bodies, our souls will live on, it's a wonderful and freeing thought that we'll be freed from the pain and the shackles of our earthly body, and that we will go into this period where we have bliss, and we are just the spirit and the soul that we always were and were intended to be. That's a super sweet thing. And soon your Lord will give you what will be pleasing to you. Good always comes. Our job is to pay attention when the good comes and give thanks for it. And then say, more please, because we can always ask, right, for what we need. Did God not find you an orphan alone and comfort you? At some point, everyone experiences that alone time, that absolute solitude when they feel that there's nobody out there struggling in the same ways there. We are never alone. And we will find that person who, through a smile or a hug or whatever, will remind us that we are not alone. Don't forget. We're never completely orphaned. And then the next verse, did God not find you wandering and guide you? There's so much good guidance out there. Maybe you find it in your sacred space, in a sacred book, in music, art, or poetry. We're directed to find what it is that has always brought us peace and return to it. and God found you poor and provided you sustenance. I have personally lived in poverty. I have experienced homelessness. There were many years where there was not enough food on the table, but we struggle again to be forged, to be stronger, and then we end up in a better place. Don't be ashamed, though, to ask for help from friends or family if they are the good choice. You know better than me if families aren't always the good choice, or from resources in your community. Ask. Don't be ashamed to ask for help while you need it. And then the verse becomes much more action-oriented towards the end, the last few. It says, it leaves us with 3 strategies for when you feel orphaned, alone, or struggling. So don't ignore those who are orphaned around you. Get outside of yourself and look. There are other people who are truly feeling alone. Give something of yourself to them. Your smile. And a smile is an act of charity in Islam, in my faith. So give that smile to someone who's in need. A wave, a nod, your time. That will brighten someone's day. What we know about volunteering or doing something good for others, by the way, again, here the geeky science comes back in. We know that volunteering or doing something for others has 3 impacts on ourselves. It reduces our physical pain. People who are in chronic pain, if they volunteer, that pain decreases. Good strategy, right? Not NSAIDs, doing something good for others. It increases your will to live. If you're giving up and feeling I have no reason to live, do something for others, and then you find your sense of purpose. And it also decreases depression. There's something important in this. And then in the verse, the next directive is given. And when someone asks something of you, don't turn away from them. There's a saying in Islam that says, don't ever repulse the beggar or someone who asks, even if they ride up to you on the finest horse. Whoa, what? Even if they appear wealthy or they appear they've got everything, if they ask, if they humble themselves and ask, don't turn them away. It is humiliating to ask. Give, and you will get the blessings for giving. And if they misuse your blessing that you've given them, that's on them. You already got the blessings for giving. Be that giving heart. And then the last verse is, I'm going to skip. I just want to tell you that I was very alone once in Florida, and I was feeling real sorry for myself that I didn't know anybody there. I didn't know where I was going. I felt super alone. And I had a sandwich in my hand, and I was walking down the street, and I saw a homeless person. I sat with them. And I just chatted with them and told them I didn't know where to go or what to do in this new place. And they told me all the cool haunts to go visit. And then they said, and I shared my sandwich because I did certainly need the whole thing. And then they said, I want to give you something for that, but I don't have money. And they made a song on their little wooden flute they had. They made a song for me. I cried. Nobody's ever made a song for me. They didn't know how big of a deal that was going to be for me, and also that information about this strange land I was in called Florida. It is a strange land. You all know what I mean. Anyway, I remember now how much better that day was because I didn't ignore the person that was sitting and clearly down on their luck. And so maybe there's something in that for you. So the last bit of advice that this verse offers us is, and proclaim the many blessings given to you by your Lord. When you remember those blessings, you're in a better place automatically. So that's the guidance that has been given from this small verse from the Quran. It leaves us with guidance in tough times to remember that we have many blessings to be thankful for in these dark times, to encourage others to ponder those blessings as well so they can experience that positive thing too. Give to one another, give to those who ask for your help, and don't forget to be thankful. I hope something was helpful in this little time we've spent together. You wonderful souls out there, don't let your darkness is don't let your light be extinguished by darkness. Please let your light shine brightly. And I wanted to close with that words of Martin Luther King Jr., who said, darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hatred cannot drive out hatred. Only love can do that. Thank you so much.
And now if you would join us in the closing song, number 18, What Wondrous Love, in the gray hymnal. Please rise in body and or spirit for our closing song. The lyrics will be projected on the screen, and they're in your hymnal. Please remain lifted up as we extinguish the chalice and join in the unison reading from the Holy Quran, chapter 94. The expansion of the heart. Please read from the bulletin or the screen. In the name of God, you may be seated. Okay, we have a few announcements for today. The Golden Girls Lunch Bunch meets Tuesday, October 14th at 11:30 in the boardroom. All ladies of a golden age, bring your brown bag lunch and meet us in the boardroom to visit, to get to know each other better, and generally enjoy ourselves. We're looking forward to seeing you there. Are you a visitor or new to our congregation and curious to learn more about Unitarian Universalism? We'd love to get to know you and share more about who we are as a community. Please join us today after the service at 11:30 in the boardroom for an informal, welcoming conversation. This is a relaxed space where you can ask questions, learn about our values and activities, and meet some of the people who make this congregation what it is. Members are also warmly invited to attend and share their own stories about how they found UUCQC and what being part of this community has meant to them. Strengthen your body, mind, and spirit. Join the mindful movement session led by Laura Nichols. If you're here, that's Laura. On Sunday, October 19th from 9 to 9:45 in the lounge before worship. Practice attending to the present moment in community through light movement. No experience is required and childcare will be provided. Sponsored by the Adult Religious Education Team. Sip and Savor is coming up October 11th. Join us for the event on Friday from 5:30 to 8 p.m. It's Saturday. Saturday, the 11th. Enjoy an evening of food, music, and fellowship. Tickets are $30 in advance and $35 at the door. Seating is limited, so don't wait to save your spot. Tickets are available downstairs after church. Melanie Landa, who I think already went downstairs, is selling them. Or you can buy them online using the QR code on the flyer, and it is also posted on our website. In times of stress and uncertainty, coming together as a community can make all the difference. Pastoral Care invites everyone to join us for a community gathering aimed at helping us connect, share our experiences, and support one another through these challenging times. We will be meeting on October 6th from 6 to 7:30 in the sanctuary. We are excited to announce our upcoming Mindful Makers group gathering on October 18th from 11 to 3. Everyone is welcome to join us for an afternoon of creativity and fun. Bring a bag, lunch, and other creative, artistic craft projects to do while spending time and chatting with other makers. If you are craft curious, that's okay too. We'll have people who can teach you how or are willing to learn with you. We ask that you bring your own supplies and we can help you get started. If you need childcare, please RSVP by October 4th to Tanya Toulouse, who's not here, or Mindy Pace. In the back. Finally, let me draw your attention to the additional announcements printed on the back of your order of service. Today we have explored despair, hope, and faith. I'd like to close with another reading from Rumi. He states that all doubt, despair, and fear become insignificant once the intention of life becomes love. I can't help but compare this to our UU values that center on love. It seems that all of the major religions point us in the same direction. Let us remember that our love is a commitment to compassion, dignity, and liberation, calling us to dismantle oppression, foster inclusivity, and build a more just and compassionate world through our actions and relationships. By having faith in one another, we can overcome the negative pull of despair through hope and love. Thank you.